Hey guys, what's up? So last night the wheels did come in, so I'm gonna go ahead and get the wheels all mocked up on the car, as well as putting that steering linkage back on, and hopefully run a discount and see if we can get a tire fitted on these. So let's go ahead and get these wheels unboxed.
All right, get down, get down, get down. I need the box. Get down.
Alright, well actually after putting this wheel on, even though this is the 15-inch diameter wheel that it must be to fit these rotors, it actually still has clearancing issues by just a little bit. I don't know how well you guys can see it in there, but you can see the caliper touches the rim. So even though this wheel matches the minimum diameter, the smallest diameter of the wheel is what's actually hitting the caliper. So I'm gonna have to order one more size up. I'm gonna have to return these and get some new ones, unfortunately. It's obviously kind of a bummer that they didn't fit. I was hoping I'd get that done today and mainly make sure all the fit moves are gonna work, because I have to go back to work on Monday. So I was using all this time off to, get the ball rolling here. But I'll go ahead and get everything packaged up, and I'll work on sending them out today so we can continue on where I'm left off. As a matter of fact, we'll just fast forward until I get the new wheels so you guys don't have to wait for it. Well, before I just went ahead and ordered up the next bigger size of wheels, I wanted to go ahead and just browse a little bit too. So right now I'm just here on American Racing, just looking at the wheels. These are the ones that I just purchased, but I'm actually going to get the size bigger. They've got a lot of options here that I'm also exploring as well. So gonna keep going through, see which ones I like the most. I still really like the ones I got for the car, so most likely get the same ones, but you never know. You never know. Alright guys, so I went ahead and went with the same wheels. There was another set, so these are the Torque Thrusters VN 515. There's actually a 615 as well that has this diameter, this inner diameter here is wider than the 515s, at least that's what I can tell. I did like the way they looked, but they cost a lot more, so I went ahead and ordered a pair of the 16-inch polished 515s. And here's a comparison. Here's what the 15-inch would have looked like if they fit. I actually really liked the more sidewall on the tire. I think it looks pretty meaty. Here's the 17-inch, which I think is too much for my 4-door. Obviously this is a 2-door. And then here's the one that I got. So it's gonna fit, gives me a little more sidewall than those 17s, but overall I'll be happy with it. So these should be coming in the next week or so, and I can go ahead and continue on my videos. Okay guys, I just got home from work and the next set of wheels are here. And these are the 16x7. So I'm gonna go ahead and open them up and then we'll slap them on the car. Now that we got the wheel all mounted, we'll go ahead and check for the clearances, turning the wheel all the way to the right and the left and make sure the wheel doesn't rub on anything. Also, went ahead and jacked up the control arm, so now it's weighted and it's going to be closer to what the actual ride height is. That'll give me a better idea of all the clearances. So going all the way to the right. No rubbing, plenty of room on the top and the bottom. I'll go ahead and go all the way to the left. So again, nothing rubbing right off the bat. Looks like all those clearances are good. Since the clearances turning both right and left seem good, I'm going to go ahead and go online and start doing some shopping for some tires, and then we'll get them mounted and we'll do some test fits. And if they don't fit, I'll go ahead and obviously get some different size tires. But right now I'm aiming for 225 to 60. Okay guys, first off, I wanted to say sorry. This video has been kind of jumping around a little bit. I am filming this over a few days. By the time you'll see it, it'll been a few days. Of course, I got that first set of wheels, second set of wheels, and now I ordered a tire. And I wanted to go ahead and show you the tire that I got. And I got a BF Goodrich Advantage TA Sport, of course the 225/60/16. I think this will be a good all-around tire for when I want to drive the car anytime. I also think it looks pretty good as a tire. The tread pattern is also pretty cool. Another route that I might want to go in later on is getting a tire with a white lettering or a white wall. I think that might look kind of cool, at least the white lettering, but we'll see about that in the future. So I did just go home from work, so I'm going to go ahead and get that wheel loaded up, and then we'll head over to Discount to get it mounted.
Check the mic and make sure it sound right, boys. It sound right, boys.
Alright guys, now that I got the tire mounted, I think it actually looks really good. Has a lot of sidewall. I still am a little curious to see if it's going to fit based off my measurements. Now be aware that I am a dumbass, so this should fit and shouldn't rub anywhere. But obviously, you know, when the tire flexes and suspension, we may have issues later on. But I think it does look really dope. I really like the meatiness of this sidewall. As you can see, it's pretty good sized tire. Back up here for a better idea. So there it is. Obviously the car's not on the ground, but I think that tire looks pretty sweet. Alright, so this is all the way to the right. I don't have any rubbing issues, just spinning the tire. So it should be good this way. Now I'll go ahead and turn all the way to the left. Alright, once again, all the way full left. Doesn't look like we have any rubbing issues. So these 225/60s, 16s seem like they're going to work fine. Obviously, I'm going to have to adjust the ride height a little bit. These coilovers aren't adjusted right, and the car's not fully on the ground. So that's going to be a little play around with. But as of right now, it looks like these wheels are going to fit.
It sound
couple days since I shot that video of me putting on the new tire and wheel. But since I have today off from work, since it's the follow-up day of the 4th of July, I'm going to go ahead and button up the rest of the driver's side front suspension, and I can go ahead and get the car seated on the ground for the first time, at least on the driver's side, to see how everything is going to look. And I also want to make sure it's all ready for the sway bar once that time comes. Also, it's raining today in Austin, so I want to apologize for the background noise if you can hear it. Before I set the car officially on the ground, I'm going to go ahead and loosen the bolts up on top and the lower control arm where the bushings go through. That way when the car is sitting all the way down, the bushings aren't all bound up from being at the bottom and then rotated all the way up. So I'll do that really quick, and then we'll go ahead and get the car on the ground.
Sound right, boys.
Now that I got the bolts for the bushings loosened on both of the control arms, I'm going to go ahead and raise the car back up, remove the jacks then from the driver's side car, and then re-jack up the car from the control arms so that way it's fully weighted. And then I'll go ahead and re-tighten down the control arms. Okay guys, now you have a rough estimate of what that new ride height is going to look like. It's a lot lower than I thought it was going to be, but I think it looks pretty good. Obviously the back end is pretty raked up right now, but that's because it's still on that old stock suspension. But I'm really liking how low that looks. So although I do think the lowered car will look a lot better, right now it's actually a little bit too low looking at it. And what I actually want is for just the top of the tire to be showing. So I'm going to go ahead and jack up the car just to see what it looks like really quick. You can just barely see the top of the tire if you're looking at eye level. And that's just about how lowered I'd like to get it. So obviously if I set this side without the other side being fully set, it's not going to be perfect. But I do want to get it kind of close, and then I'll adjust it later on. So I'm going to go ahead and take my spanner tool, tighten up that coil over, and then raise the ride height. I actually got it pretty close. Now at the bottom there's 10 threads showing, whereas before there was 7. So now I got that about, it's a little too low now, but I'll go back and do it later once the other side is done too. Because right now the car is sitting a little cockeyed. So we'll get that tuned in a little later. Before I can move on to the passenger side, I got a little shuffling around to do in the garage. I like to keep this one side open, so that way if we do want to park a car in here or if we change an oil on a different car, I still have the space. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to take vehicle dollies, put it under the back 2 tires of Dory, and then just shift the car around and have the car basically diagonal in the garage. That way I have enough room on the driver's side. I'm going to have to do a little bit of fidgeting around with that, but I believe that should give me enough room in here. all cockeyed in the garage now. Obviously, I gotta do a little cleanup here, but I think this should work. Okay, now that Dory is nice and diagonal and fits nice and snugly, I'm gonna go ahead and re-jack up the car pretty much like how before. Put jack stands on both sides, that way it's nice and level. And I'm not too sure how much I'm gonna do on the passenger side suspension. I really just wanted to touch up this wheel and make sure it's all gonna work, set the car down and get it situated. So we'll see how I'm feeling. Alright guys, that's pretty much gonna do it for today. Next time, I'm going to be going ahead and diving into the passenger side. And since I lost all the footage from the driver's side, I'm going to go ahead and re-record all that stuff. So that way you can kind of see what I've been doing. And also, I'm going to follow a little bit different process for this side because I do need some of the original hardware off this to use in the new stuff. And it was kind of a pain in the ass to take it off when it was already off the car. Anyways, don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment down below if you have anything to say. And I'll see you next time.